English version. April 22, 2024, News Report 1. Chinese ambassador to the United States, Xia Feng, attended the China Forum hosted by Harvard University's Kennedy School of Government on April 20. His speech was interrupted by protests from 3 students. According to Reuters, one of the protesting students was forcibly removed from the venue by Zhou Hongji, the president of the Harvard Chinese Student and Scholar Association. Xia's speech focused on the need for cooperation between the U.S. and China despite facing serious challenges in various issues. Videos online show a female student holding a protest banner shouting, "Xia Feng, you are promoting a false image of China's prosperity here, but your hands are stained with blood. You have deprived the people of Hong Kong of their freedom, destroyed democracy in Hong Kong, and now you are here to destroy Taiwan, our country." The female student was then forcibly removed by Zhou. Zhou is studying international political economy at Harvard University. Netizens have criticized him, claiming he portrays himself as a global citizen but is actually a thug for the CCP. Another female student stood up with a placard after the first student was taken away, protesting against China's repressive policies in Tibet. She was politely escorted out by staff. Xia stood motionless at the lectern until he regained his composure. Just as he was about to speak, another audience member stood up, raised a Tibetan flag, and shouted, "Free Tibet," 3 times. The host then intervened to calm the situation. News Report 2. The Global Mail of Canada reported that Chinese ambassador to Canada, Chong Peiwu, unexpectedly left his post and returned to China on April 9 without the usual farewell activities. Generally, high-ranking diplomats hold a series of farewell activities with the host country before leaving, as a matter of courtesy and procedure. Chong's sudden return may indicate that he encountered problems, so the Chinese government did not want to arrange farewell activities for him. China has notified the Canadian government of Chong's return. Chong also sent farewell letters to diplomatic missions of some countries, stating that his term as ambassador ended on April 9, but he did not explain why his term ended abruptly. Chinese media and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs have not announced Chong's departure. The website of the Chinese embassy in Canada still lists Chong as the ambassador, but the last report about him is from April 9 when he published an article on the website of the Kelowna Chamber of Commerce, recounting his visit to Kelowna. This event has raised concerns about the confusion in China's diplomatic system, with some believing that the chaos in Chinese diplomacy has worsened since Xi Jinping took office. News Report 3. According to the United Morning Post, Philippine National Security Advisor, Arnold, made a statement on April 20, saying that the current Philippine government is unaware of any secret or gentlemen's agreements. He stated that any secret agreements reached by China and the previous Philippine government regarding the South China Sea are against the national interest and invalid. The current government will not recognize such agreements. Arnold also pointed out that the Philippines should not fall into a trap that is clearly designed to divide the country and weaken its determination to defend its sovereignty in the South China Sea. Recently, there have been multiple conflicts between China and the Philippines over the South China Sea issue. China has even claimed that the Philippines did not abide by the so-called gentleman's agreement. A spokesman for former Philippine President Duterte revealed that the previous government had reached an agreement with China, allowing China to provide supplies for its ships stranded in Ayungin Shoal but not to repair the ships. Duterte responded last week, saying that he shook hands with Chinese President Xi Jinping and reached an agreement to maintain the status quo in the disputed waters. However, Duterte denied conceding territory and only admitted verbally promising not to repair the ship stranded on Ayungin Shoal. The current Philippine government has consistently stated that it is unaware of such a secret agreement. News Report 4. Reuters reported that the PLA Navy held the Western Pacific Naval Forum in Qingdao, Shandong Province on April 22, with representatives from 29 countries attending, totaling over 180 people. This is the first time China has hosted the Western Pacific Naval Forum in 10 years. The forum lasted for 4 days with the theme, Shared Destiny of the Ocean, and China held seminars with representatives from various countries. Representatives from the United States included Admiral Keller, commander of the Pacific Fleet, and vice chairman of the Central Military Commission Zhang Youxia. Zhang attended the opening ceremony and delivered a speech, stating that the ocean should not be a platform for countries to show off their muscles or engage in gunboat diplomacy. He emphasized that China has no intention of engaging in a Cold War or hot war with other countries and insists on resolving maritime disputes through friendly negotiations. However, the Philippines did not send representatives to the forum but instead chose to hold joint military exercises with the United States in the South China Sea. This exercise, the largest to date, involved 16,700 soldiers and simulated the recapture of islands at the northernmost tip of the Philippines, including air and missile defense, dynamic missile strikes, cyber defense, and information warfare. News Report 5. The United Daily News reported that former Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te went to the Mainland Affairs Council on the morning of April 22 to listen to a briefing on cross-strait relations. However, the report did not disclose the content of the briefing or who delivered it. With Lai's inauguration on May 20 approaching, cross-strait relations have become increasingly sensitive and tense. It is rumored that Chiu Chue-zheng, vice chairman of the Straits Exchange Foundation, may become the chairman of the Mainland Affairs Council, and Zheng Wen-kan, vice premier of the Executive Yuan, will become the chairman of the Straits Exchange Foundation. During this period, China has taken a series of actions to pressure Taiwan. First, former President Ma Ying-jeou met with Xi Jinping for the second time on April 10. Second, last week China unilaterally announced the activation of the W-122 and W-123 air routes near Kinmen and Matsu Islands, and imposed anti-dumping duties on polycarbonate imported from Taiwan. In addition, the PLA continues to be active around the Taiwan Strait. According to a report from the Taiwanese Ministry of National Defense, on April 20, there were 21 PLA aircraft and 7 warships active around the Taiwan Strait, and on the 21st, there were 10 aircraft and 6 warships. News Report 6. According to Agence France-Presse, the Federal Prosecutor's Office in Germany announced on April 22 that it had arrested 3 Chinese nationals in western Germany for alleged espionage activities. The individuals include the couple Helwig and Ina, as well as Thomas. Helwig and Ina had signed a technology transfer agreement with a German university involving technology for producing engine components for warships. Thomas is an agent of the Chinese Ministry of State Security and obtained the technology from Helwig and Ina's company. German prosecutors stated that the suspects also assisted the Chinese Ministry of Public Security in purchasing special lasers from Germany and exporting them to China, violating German foreign trade laws. Friedrich Merz, chairman of the opposition Christian Democratic Union Party in Germany, stated that China is becoming increasingly repressive domestically and more assertive internationally, posing a security threat to Germany. Merz pointed out that while China remains economically significant for German companies, any investor must assess the increased risks, as Germany is unwilling to bail out companies that take on excessive risks in China. News Report 7. Kyodo News reported that Professor Fan Yuntao, a Chinese national at the Asia University in Japan, has likely been arrested since he went missing in Shanghai in February this year. Fan returned to his hometown of Shanghai in February 2023 and lost contact with those around him after telling them that relevant departments of the Chinese government had approached him for questioning. Fan did not return to Japan before the start of classes in April 2023, and his family in Japan still does not know his whereabouts. Fan studied at Kyoto University in Japan and then taught in the City Creation Department at Asia University, specializing in international law and political science. Fan was also enthusiastic about promoting youth exchanges between China and Japan. Japanese official Lin Fangzheng stated on April 22 that the Japanese government is concerned about Fan Yuntao's disappearance. This is the second time a Japanese scholar friendly to China has gone missing in China, the first being Hu Shiyun. Hu Shiyun, a professor at Kobe Institute, disappeared after returning to China last summer and has not been heard from since. Therefore, it is seen that engaging in friendly activities with China overseas is a high-risk job. News Report 8. According to Bloomberg Industry Research, 200 bankers were laid off in Hong Kong last year due to reduced revenue from their business in China, coupled with higher salaries for bankers in Hong Kong compared to Singapore and Japan. The report shows that IPO fundraising in Hong Kong in the first quarter was only $600 million, a year-on-year decrease and a new low in 20 years. Due to the decrease in the number of IPOs, investment banks' revenue also decreased, leading to layoffs of bankers. At the same time, salaries for senior bankers in Hong Kong are 40% to 70% higher than in Singapore, and 30% to 100% higher than in China and Japan. Therefore, investment banks choose to cut costs in the higher-cost region of Hong Kong and move some work to Singapore and Japan. The report cites experts' predictions that international investment banks will continue to lay off staff in the coming quarters, but there may be some relief in the second half of this year. However, with Chinese funds continuing to flow into Hong Kong's wealth management and private banking businesses of HSBC, Standard Chartered, and Bank of China, they will continue to benefit. News Report 9. The website of the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection announced on April 21 that Gao Peng, the deputy mayor of Beijing, is under investigation for suspected violations of laws and disciplines, but the specific reasons were not disclosed. Gao Peng is responsible for urban management and the transportation committee at the Beijing municipal government. According to the paper, after Gao Peng fell from grace, 22 central government officials have been reported for investigation this year. This indicates that under the leadership of Xi Jinping, the rate of officials falling from grace is much higher than in historical periods. Gao Peng, 52, from Liaoning, served as the manager of the Beijing subway, then as the secretary of Shuni district, and finally was promoted to deputy mayor of Beijing. He ranks 6th among the 8 deputy mayors of Beijing. In addition, on April 12, the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection announced that it had launched an investigation into Lin Qingxin, the director of the State Tobacco Monopoly Administration, accusing him of using his position to seek personal gain and accepting huge amounts of property. Lin Qingxin, from Fengcheng, Jiangxi, served as a provincial governor and retired in 2018 before being appointed as the head of the State Tobacco Monopoly Administration. He is the first head of the State Tobacco Monopoly Administration to be investigated. News Report 10. According to Ming Pao, the Hong Kong Institute of Certified Public Accountants, KICPA, issued a statement on April 19 announcing an investigation into allegations against PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, raised in an anonymous public letter. The letter, titled, "Who Led PwC into the Evergrande Pit," appeared online in March and was partially signed by PwC partners. It accused PwC of failing to establish and maintain an effective quality control system, not complying with professional standards and laws, not adhering to professional standards for client acceptance and maintaining client relationships, not assigning appropriate personnel for quality management, and not conducting proper audit procedures for Evergrande. KICPA stated that given the seriousness of these allegations, the Hong Kong government has a responsibility to investigate. If PwC is found to have engaged in misconduct or violated regulations, strict enforcement action will be taken. PwC has stated that it will cooperate with the investigation. In addition, the China Securities Regulatory Commission, CSRC, stated that Evergrande falsified its financials, overstating its revenue by 214 billion yuan in 2010 and 350 billion yuan in 2022, totaling 564 billion yuan. PwC served as the auditor for Evergrande for 14 years until resigning last year due to its collapse. The CSRC is investigating PwC. News Report 11. Tesla has recently significantly reduced prices globally, affecting the US, Europe, and China markets. In the US, Tesla lowered the prices of Model Y, Model X, and Model S by $2,000 on April 19, with Model Y reaching its lowest price since launch at $42,930. In the Chinese market, Tesla lowered the prices of Model 3, Model Y, and Model S by 14,000 yuan on April 21, with Model 3 priced at 231,900 yuan, Model Y at 249,900 yuan, and Model S at 684,900 yuan. The price of Model 3 in Germany has been reduced by 2,000 euros. Tesla is also reducing prices in other countries in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, primarily to stimulate sales. Analysts believe Tesla's price reductions are a response to declining sales and price wars in the electric vehicle market. Tesla's stock price has dropped by 40%, reflecting the decline in sales. The CSRC stated that the Chinese automobile market is undergoing a new round of price wars, with many car companies reducing prices for promotions. Since April, more than 40 car companies in China have reduced prices for 128 car models, including 84 for gasoline cars and 44 for electric cars. According to the China Association of Automobile Manufacturers, data released on April 17 showed that a total of 516,000 vehicles were retailed from April 1 to 14, a decrease of 11% year-on-year and 3% month-on-month. Among them, the sales of electric vehicles totaled 260,000, an increase of 32% year-on-year and 2% month-on-month. This indicates a reversal in the pattern of the Chinese automobile market, with electric vehicles becoming the mainstream. The Thailand Board of Investment Committee announced on April 22 that Chery Automobile, a Chinese company, plans to start production at its factory in Thailand in 2025, with an annual output of 50,000 electric and hybrid vehicles, increasing to 80,000 by 2028. Since February 2022, the Thai government has implemented subsidies and tax incentives for electric vehicles, attracting investments from Chinese car companies. So far, 8 Chinese car companies have invested over 20 billion yuan in Thailand, including SAIC, BYD, Geely, Great Wall, Changan, NIO, and Jianghuai, among others. Last year, Chinese electric cars accounted for over 70% of the market share in Thailand, with Great Wall, SAIC, and BYD ranking in the top 3. News Report 12. According to Radio Free Asia, Guangdong Province has been hit by heavy rain since April 18, with the Beijiang River experiencing a once-in-a-century flood peak on April 21, resulting in multiple deaths and 10 people missing. The Guangdong Provincial Hydrological Bureau stated that the Beijiang River experienced its second flood peak of the year on April 21 at noon, with a peak flow of 7,000 cubic meters per second, classified as a once-in-a-century flood. The floods have severely affected areas such as Shaoguan and Qingyuan, with videos showing severe flooding in downtown Shaoguan, with water levels approaching adult necks, forcing many people to walk in the floodwaters with only their heads exposed. During the floods, the Dinghu Mountain in Zhaoqing City was hosting a cross-country race, but due to heavy rain triggering the flood peak, the race had to be temporarily suspended, resulting in 30 participants being trapped in the mountains. Videos show the trapped participants struggling to move forward while holding onto ropes, sometimes having to crouch down to avoid thunderstorms. They crossed the turbulent waters hand in hand, in a very thrilling scene. The Central Meteorological Observatory predicts that there will still be heavy rain in northern Guangdong on April 22, but the rainfall will weaken by April 23. However, a new round of rainfall is expected on April 24. Although the weather forecast had long warned of the impending heavy rain in Guangdong, information about the race organizers is still unclear, and it is unclear why action was not taken in time to avoid this dangerous situation.